All right. Well, welcome you guys to our spring summit. For those of you that were with us a few weeks ago, we appreciate you coming back. And for those of you that could not get in because Zoom globally melted down, we're really excited that we had the chance to spend time with you today. And it's actually been kind of beneficial because in the last 3 weeks since we had the opportunity to be together, the world has continued to move at breakneck pace. And we are super excited to share with you some of the latest updates that we've got. So before I begin, let me let you know that there is a Q&A button down at the bottom of your screen. Throughout today's summit, if you have any questions that you want us to answer, please populate it in there and we will answer both kind of throughout and at the end of the summit with our time together. So let me talk to you about who's here today and what we're going to cover. I am joined by Andres Avalos, who is our Chief Product Officer, and Sahara Maradi, who is our VP of Product Management, and I am Erin Helgren, the CEO of OfficeSpace. We are really excited to talk to you about this agenda that we've got today, which is first talking about where AI in workplace management is, a little bit about historically how we've been applying it over the last several quarters, but more importantly, where we think it's going and how we think that AI will ultimately create more client value for all of our OfficeSpace clients. We actually have an opportunity to do a live demo for you today of our new asset management product. You're actually the first group to see this live. It is coming to the opportunity to buy this in just the upcoming next couple of weeks. So super exciting to let you know what we envision, what we've built, the value that we think that we can create for you. And then we'll talk to you a little bit more about some new amazing experiences that are also available for employee experience. So there's a lot of exciting innovation to talk to you about. Before we actually get into the content, what I wanted to do is also introduce somebody to you that probably a lot of you know, but Rafa Guevara was recently promoted just a few months ago to be our Chief Client Officer. Now, Rafa was employee number 4 at OfficeSpace, so he has been with us for a very long time. He's got over 2 decades of experience leading global client operations and solutions. The fact that he's been such a big part of OfficeSpace for so long and interacted with so many of you gives him just incredibly unique perspective on how to make sure that he and his client operations organization is really driving value. What Rafa will be responsible for is the entire client journey. So from onboarding and support to client success, client operations, professional services, literally end to end, ensuring that our clients are maximizing their satisfaction and their ROI with all of the different solutions that OfficeSpace can create for them. So Rafa, let me turn it over to you for just a minute or two.
Thanks, Erin. Rafa Guevara, Chief Client Officer, and like Erin said, I've been here for 13 years supporting our clients, leading services, working to deliver just an incredible experience for everyone on this call and beyond. We've achieved the fastest implementation in the industry. We have the most responsive support team. We have a strategic success, partnerships with many and, all of you. And our focus is always to just keep on helping you get the most out of OfficeSpace. So as CCO, my goal is to keep raising that bar, right? And today I'm really excited for you all to see how we're bringing your feedback and your input to life, starting with our new AI strategy and our whole new approach to asset management, which is something that you've been talking about for a long time, and we're so happy to deliver. So Erin and the product team will tell you all about it, and I'm excited for this summit and excited for keeping that bar up and high for everyone.
All right. Thank you, Rafa. So we're actually going to start with a quick video because I think AI is so compelling and powerful. It's so valuable to see what it can really do to your day-to-day operations. So let's take a look for the next couple of minutes on what the workplace revolution powered by AI is going to look like.
Remember when managing the workplace meant floor plans on whiteboards with sticky notes, chaotic moves to new buildings, and the faint hope that someone would show up to the office that day? Today's workplace teams and real estate leaders are navigating a new frontier. Hybrid policies, rising costs, return to office mandates, disengaged employees, and portfolios under pressure. The stakes are high, and there are no tools that have kept up with the rate of change we've seen. Until now. Meet your new workplace genius, an AI agent built for the workplace revolution. It listens, it learns, it delivers portfolio insights in seconds, not days. This is Workplace Genius, by OfficeSpace. It sees patterns your team can't, pushes smart recommendations before you ask, and helps you make every square foot work smarter. But we're not stopping at insights. We're using AI agents to accelerate our entire roadmap, delivering 3 years of innovation in 3 months with agents that code alongside us at a fraction of the cost. That means we're delivering better product, faster, to help teams rapidly adapt to the changing ways we work. The future of work will be agentified. That's why we're building agents for our clients too, so they can wire up new ways of working, eliminate repetitive tasks, and supercharge the superhumans in their business. This is more than software. This is a workplace intelligence layer, a trusted analyst, a strategic partner, and maybe, just maybe, the smartest new hire you'll ever make. This is OfficeSpace, the AI workplace management platform fueling the future of work.
So hopefully you guys are as excited about that future of work as we are, because we think that it can fundamentally transform speed to impact, ROI, and all the things that are so important in terms of optimizing the way that you're thinking about real estate, workplace experience, and the optimization of all of it. One of the things that's kind of exciting about AI as we think about it, that one chart that showed how we are able now with agentified AI solutions helping us develop and helping us do our work, we're able to introduce innovation at a much faster pace than we've ever been able to before. I'm going to tell you a little story. You have been telling us, many of you, for a long time that you wanted us to deliver an asset management solution. We were already providing you with capabilities to manage people and places, and you said, it's just such an obvious next step for you to help me manage all the assets in the office as well. And so actually for the last couple of years, we've been evaluating the opportunities in the market and looking at different asset management solutions to buy. And we did a lot of diligence on about 35 companies, and we couldn't find anything that we thought hit the criteria that we needed in order to make it part of OfficeSpace. Either the tech wasn't strong enough, the client impact wasn't compelling enough, the financials weren't compelling enough. For a lot of different reasons, we said, we just can't find what we want to buy. So in November of last year, we asked Andres on the product team and then Kylie Reynolds, our chief technology officer, to determine what it would take in terms of cost and level of effort for us to create that solution from scratch and bring it to you. At the time, we thought it was going to take us 2 years. And we thought, well, that's not very compelling. We don't want to really do that. Flash forward to just 2 months later, and with the broad adoption and availability of these AI-powered coding solutions, our unbelievable engineering team was able to develop a proof of concept for a very competitive asset management solution in 6 hours. And since February 8th, which was the day that we developed the proof of concept, we have been hard at work actually delivering from scratch an entirely comprehensive, very competitive asset management solution. Not only is it really competitive and compelling, it is also integrated with the rest of OfficeSpace. So it's built on the same architecture, built on the same data layer. It's all of the user experience that you're used to and that you love. The data will easily flow from one to another, so you can manage your assets just like you're managing your workplaces. And like I mentioned, we're bringing that to market this month. So AI has transformed not just how we operate and the ability for us to be more efficient, but the speed with which innovation can actually make it to you, which we think is the most valuable thing. So let me talk to you just a little bit about kind of where we've come from and what the future looks like. So if you think about Gen AI over the course of, the last probably 2 years, I would bet that a lot of your companies are utilizing generative AI in your operations today. And what generative AI like a ChatGPT or a Google Gemini can do, it can enable you to create new content, it can answer questions for you, it can analyze for you. And the way that it does that is you need to engage with it. You ask it questions, you give it prompts, and it provides content and context back to you. It's really, really valuable, and we utilize it a lot, both in our work lives and in our personal lives. Phenomenal for content creation, phenomenal for creativity, and phenomenal for insights. The next horizon, though, is Agentic AI. And Agentic is built off of the word agent. What Agentic AI does is take what Gen AI has done for us over the course of the last couple of years, and it turbocharges it. Because what Agentic AI can do is it can operate independently, meaning it doesn't need consistent prompting and engagement from users. It also doesn't just execute singular commands. it can actively work towards objectives. You can give it a goal, a problem to solve, and it will iterate and iterate to get there. It can adapt by evaluating different options, learning from what it's done, getting feedback, and then adjusting its strategy. It can also take really complex tasks and break them into subtasks that it can execute efficiently with high levels of accountability. And the last piece that's amazing is an agentic AI agent can actually collaborate with users like you or me, with other AI agents, and with systems in real time. So if you can imagine what this gives us the possibility to go do, this literally, again, is exponential impact in terms of the ability for AI to help us be more efficient in our operations, to help you be more efficient in your operations, drive more execution without as much human oversight and human interaction. So incredibly game-changing in terms of the opportunities ahead of us. Now, when you think about what the opportunity is for agentic AI to improve employee productivity, it can improve it right now, what we've seen so far, just in the last couple quarters globally, up to 40%. Because what it's enabling us to do in our organizations is eliminate mundane tasks so that the humans that you employ that have the domain expertise and the capability can be focused on complex work and highly creative work. So massive opportunity for unlocking efficiency. What we've seen is organizations that have adopted AI are reporting a big reduction in cost. That's valuable, but even more importantly, an increase in revenue and an increase in growth. And it's because we're able to pivot where we're having people spend their time. I'm thinking about myself at OfficeSpace. What we're trying to do is get people all focused on delivering and creating more client value for you. Now, the good news about the world that we're in, it is becoming widely available, incredibly effective, and our commitment is actually to bring the value of agentic AI to you with no effort required on your part. We're going to be building it into our products so that you can access it and leverage it to become more effective in your organizations. And in fact, that might sound a little bit scary. And you think about this army of agents and army of bots, but in fact, we're utilizing agentic AI in many ways today. So think about your smart home assistants that are automatically adjusting your heating and cooling and lighting based on your user habits, based on environmental data. Think about in our personal banking systems, how platforms like PayPal or JP Morgan are using agentic AI to identify fraud and autonomously block or flag it for us. And then think about in retail and shopping, where agentic AI is actually helping us figure out, based on our browsing and purchase history, what to recommend, when to actually let us know that things have gotten back into stock, and even help companies manage their supply chain logistics to ensure timely deliveries. So while AI is here and moving quickly, it's been with us for a long time, and we've demonstrated the value in our own usage as consumers and as business professionals. Now, importantly, one of the things that's really critical for you, for me, for anybody that's utilizing AI is to ensure that every company that you're engaging with has adopted an ethical approach to the way that they're actually leveraging and building AI tools. And we've done that. So beginning 24 months ago, we begun with the development of an ethical AI code of conduct, where what we did was document what we would do to make sure that we would keep our platform and you informed and secure. Those things are based on 5 components. And if you actually click on this UR code, you can read more about it and learn about our policy. But what we say is we're prioritizing responsible development. We will never use data that's coming from our clients to train public AI models. We will maintain transparency and oversight in all AI applications. We follow incredibly strict security and privacy protocols to protect your data. And you could read more all about those very specific commitments that we're making to you to ensure that we're at the forefront of ethical and sustainable AI innovation and adoption. So I am really excited actually to turn it over right now to my colleague, Andres Avalos, who's going to share with you how we're thinking about this brave new world and the vision that we have for how AI is going to infuse our products and our services to deliver more value for each of you. Andres.
All right. Thank you very much, Erin, for that broad overview of AI. So everybody on the call has heard a lot about AI and agentic AI and what that is, and some of the practical ways that it's revolutionizing the market, but also how it's revolutionizing the way we work internally here at OfficeSpace. People are not only getting used to AI and all of the different value that it brings, but also they're expecting it, especially from their software vendors. And I would definitely urge everybody on this call to ask about AI strategy with all of your vendors because everyone should have one. Now, when we think about Office Space specifically, we're not just looking to add features that are AI enabled. We're reimagining how the workplace operates. Our vision is to embed intelligence into every layer of the platform so that way it works for you and the business outcomes that you need, where AI can anticipate your needs, automating the mundane, and surface insights you didn't even know to ask. And so to do that, we're going to be focusing on a few key themes that we're going to be building towards over the next 12 to 24 months. It starts with connection. So we're going to continue to bring together your people, places, portfolios, policies, things, and data into a single unified platform. At the core of that is ensuring we seamlessly connect to as many workplace systems as possible, making the data fabric a key driver of our strategy. What we call the workplace data fabric is essentially an ecosystem of data sources that are needed to not only drive insights from a reporting perspective, but also to drive AI and automation to resolve use cases across some very prominent use cases that I know are very important to a lot of folks on this call, like workplace planning for space planners and facility managers to better manage the space and real estate of an organization, to employee orchestration to help employees better plan their day with their colleagues, their management teams, and the space they're interacting with throughout the course of the limited time they're spending in office. As we know, a number of different organizations have 2, 3, 4-day policies. At the core of building all of these new features and capabilities, as Aaron alluded to a little earlier, ensuring that we're building things in a responsible way, that as we build, we are still continuing to enhance our platform performance, as well as keeping everything secure. Now, all of these categories are going to be underpinned by AI, ensuring that we're building AI automation and efficiencies throughout the core of the platform as we build new features and capabilities. All of this is helping us build the platform for the future of work. So a place where data becomes so powerful and actionable. And with our platform, every piece of data, whether it's from desk bookings to sensors to employee preferences, is processed in the background so you can focus on outcomes and stay away from as much administrative work as possible. So this is how we're going to power the workplace that adapts to needs and that is flexible for the future. So some of the core themes and use cases we see AI making some of the biggest impact and helping to supercharge your people that are responsible for space planning, workplace policies, real estate, around a couple of key areas. The first one is workplace strategy. What do you need to do in bringing it all together to drive employee experiences that are going to impact the bottom line? You need workplace insights in order to do that. So connecting to more things where we can drive more insights to help you understand how your employees feel about the workspace and the workplace, how the equipment and assets on the floor are laid out or are working, or how much energy they're consuming, which impacts the employee experience as well as the real estate needed to support your business outcomes. And then lastly, workplace design. What kind of spatial layouts would make the most impact to drive the collaboration and sentiment of your employees? So all of these things together will increase efficiency, help you make better decisions with confidence, improve overall experiences, not just for the employee, which we talk about a lot, and that's core to our strategy and very important, I'm sure, to everyone on this call, but also improve the experiences for the administrators of space, space planners, facility managers, corporate real estate professionals, and give everyone confidence that the decisions you're making on a day-to-day basis, a weekly basis, quarterly, yearly basis that have big capital impact are the right ones. Some of the ways or practical ways we see AI evolving in the platform and that you will see in the future are around, number one, spatial layouts, recommendations and suggestions around what potential spatial layouts would make this big impact across the workplace based on a number of different factors. How often your employees are collaborating with each other, how often teams are collaborating with each other, folks that sit in certain neighborhoods collaborating with each other digitally or within the office, leveraging sensor data as well as collaboration tools data. Also suggesting workday schedules with powerful recommendation engines based on employee patterns. Who are you typically sitting next to on a day-to-day basis? What rooms are you typically booking and for how many folks? So that way our AI can help recommend or suggest better workday schedules as well as meeting spaces to help foster more collaboration within the workplace, which gets us into better predictions and forecasting actions, which gives our AI the ability to personalize experiences when using OfficeSpace as well as what manifests on the actual floor, where our AI can act as an actual concierge. So the good news here is that we've been on this AI journey for a while. We started last year, if we can hit the next slide, please, with releasing Aussie, which was just a knowledge agent, could answer any question that you had about the product and give you quick responses. We then turned Aussie into an interactive agent, where it could then help you search for people and assets on the floor. And today, Aussie can now connect you to human agents to help with any support cases that you need. And pretty soon, Aussie will be able to provide you insights, answers in natural language of or about questions about your data. So imagine asking Aussie, what was my utilization rate last quarter? And being able to see a natural language response back from your AI assistant that can also generate a chart so you have proof and validation that what Aussie is telling you is true. And that sets us up for the future of agentic AI, a space where we see digital agents becoming very much embedded into the OfficeSpace platform. So you can imagine in the future, in the not so distant future, we will be releasing digital agents for space planners, facility managers, and team engagement managers. From a space planning perspective, imagine an AI assistant that can show you various scenarios of a floor plan based on a number of different factors, where you don't have to manually build scenarios from scratch, and it can give you ideas of what should be considered for future spatial layouts. Imagine a facility management agent, an agent that can track schedules for preventative maintenance, track energy usage, and identify cost savings opportunities for you, and team engagement agents to help act as that personal concierge or personalized assistant for room and desk bookings and group activity coordination. All of this is in the future for our OfficeSpace customers as well as users that they're going to benefit from. Now, I am going to turn it over to Sahara Muradi, who is going to talk about asset management, which has been alluded to a little earlier a couple of times in this presentation, and how we've leveraged AI to accelerate new product development. So Sahara, over to you.
Great. Thank you, Andreas. I'm thrilled to be able to share our new asset management solution with you all. As Aaron and Rafa mentioned, we have heard so much from you in terms of the solutions you're looking for, the problems you face in managing your assets, tracking your inventory, and understanding the associated costs and resources. So with that, I'm introducing our OfficeSpace asset solution, which is geared towards those specific use cases, understanding your single source of truth, your central repository for all of your office assets, including your IT equipment, your capital assets, being able to configure and customize all the details associated with that, from the way that you categorize those specific assets, the IDs associated, the costs associated with that, as well as the work orders that are created for both reactive and preventative maintenance. So you can get ahead on being able to service each of those assets, managing work orders, specific resources in order to allocate accordingly based on your portfolio needs. We also include asset lifecycle tracking, knowing the status of those assets, whether they're in use, they're in inventory, so that you have a good understanding of the breadth of your assets and where they're located, as well as being able to allocate those to specific resources and locations across your portfolio. And as you're tracking costs, leveraging different types of formulas, you have a great handle on your purchase costs, the depreciation of value over time, the disposal costs, so you can truly have a handle on your asset inventory as well as stakeholder management, and receiving all of that information live with updates based on alerts and notifications when your assets are up for their warranty renewals and or end of life, so that you can plan for those replacement assets accordingly and ensure that you truly do have a handle of what's happening in and around your workplace as it relates to all of your inventory needs. We're excited, and as Erin mentioned, to deliver this summer. We're currently working right now with a number of EA clients who have shown interest since our last summit in ensuring that we're pressure testing and co-creating the solution with their use cases, with your use cases in mind. And as we launch our features with that intention to continue to create deeper integrations so that this solution fits into your ecosystem and can be used seamlessly and onboarded quickly for use. As we move into the next slide here, essentially what we've designed around and created our asset solution is what we've heard from you. We understand the challenges when it comes to managing maintenance requests, and we know how difficult it can be, especially when it comes to IT assets managed in a certain system, as opposed to office fixtures and furniture, and then having a separate system that manages items from a legal standpoint. So what we've tried to really ensure with our solution, as it creates a single source of truth for resourcing and having a true repository of all of your assets across different types and locations within your portfolio. We've also really honed in on eliminating manual tracking, being able to see where these assets sit within your floor plans and across your portfolio, as opposed to having spreadsheets that need manual updates, being able to retrieve that information live and having the associated data and elements, so that, similar to what Andreas mentioned, we can essentially leverage AI components to help you make better decisions about your asset allocation, your resources and budgets, and be able to really identify some of the needs there in predicting what asset allocation you should have in the future and how to ensure that you're setting yourself up for success. When it comes to increasing insights, all of that data, having it in one single location, will really empower your workplaces as well as your offices, your admins, and your employees, so they have everything they need in being able to reserve and retrieve their assets as needed for their day-to-day. We haven't created this solution in a vacuum. We've actually been looking across different asset management software platforms. We've also leveraged our wide range of industry experts to help us solution this, so that we can make sure that we're not only keeping your needs in mind, but also where the industry is going. We've actually started to leverage our industry best practices and research partners in order to get feedback on our asset solution, which I'll show you here in a moment in a demo, and I'm very excited to share. And what they've already started to comment on is just how robust our platform is, and leveraging these agentic solutions, we're able to bring this not only to you faster, but also to iterate faster as we continue to launch enhancements. As you can see from the quotes here, folks within the industry are excited to see everything in one location, really replacing those spreadsheets, or having the reminders and alerts allows them to plan accordingly, both from a resourcing perspective, but also from a budgeting need, and reducing costs that were previously unknown until they became a risk or they became an issue because assets were at the end of life or were not being tracked accordingly. And then lastly, being able to really have that new UI and simplified interface for all of your asset needs. As we move into the next slide here, I'd love to make sure that everyone has all of the information about our asset solution at their disposal. As you can see here with the QR code, if you scan this, you'll have our Backstage Pass, which gives you all live updates as we continue to create and iterate on this solution. As you can see with the video here, we have a wealth of information. Not only can you receive information about our platform, but also on the use cases it solves, a few of the videos that we started to record on the power of the platform as it fits into your ecosystem, product demos and the opportunity to engage with us so that you can receive live updates as we make progress towards our solution for public launch, as well as being able to view of a demo with your client services rep, as well as our product team. As we move forward here, I'm thrilled to be able to actually share a live demo of our solution. So with that, I'll go ahead and take control so that you can see our OfficeSpace asset solution. As you can see here, when you first enter our platform, you're presented with our dashboard view. And this is essentially your central control for all of your assets, seeing the current status of your assets, the different distribution of those as it relates to the custom categories and fields that you've created. So you have a good sense of your distribution across furniture and fixtures and your IT assets, as well as where they sit across your portfolio. You can also see live updates in terms of assets that are currently in maintenance and the utilization rate of those assets based on the status updates. When you go over into our asset view here in our work orders tab, you're presented with all of the data as it relates to work orders that are associated with assets. So those that have been completed, that may be overdue, the change in terms of the trends over time, as well as being able to see those across departments and the specific locations for your work order request by site. As we get additional feedback from our EA clients, we're going to continue to enhance the dashboards view here and are really excited to continue to iterate on this. One thing I failed to mention here on our initial dashboard views, also our critical asset alerts. When you have warranty expirations or end of life, being able to see that up front so you can action on it accordingly. What powers these dashboards and these views are our asset list and library. As you can see here, replacing spreadsheets with a dynamic and modern UI where you can quickly sort and filter on any of your assets, changing in the custom views as needed to be able to receive immediate updates on your assets and ensure that you have all of the information at your disposal. We're making this really modifiable so that it can not only meet your needs, but also from a stakeholder perspective and sharing this information across departments. When you link into the asset details here, you're able to see a number of different fields that you can customize as needed, including our categories and subcategories, being able to add pictures in order to track those specific assets and what they look like in views, creating work orders associated to assets, seeing all of the financial details. Here you can select from a number of different depreciation methods and formulas, whether it's applied to all assets or on an individual basis, the purchase cost and date, as well as the expiration timelines and useful years, and setting up those notification triggers. When it comes to the maintenance tab, here's where you can really set up that recurring maintenance request. What we are hoping to solve for is what we hear from you quite often, and being able to be more preventative as opposed to being reactive in maintenance needs, and being able to have all of that configured easily, as well as integrated with OfficeSpace, so that if you are managing all of your requests across your portfolio, you can see specific requests that come through that are essentially associated to those assets. And as we continue to build out this solution, we'll ensure that it fits within your ecosystem in being able to create APIs into your ticketing system in the event that you have additional ITSM systems. From a linked asset perspective, we know not all assets are equal, that sometimes we have primary and parent and child relationships. So you can simply come in here, adding associated assets as needed, and being able to ensure those are linked as needed from a work order maintenance perspective. And lastly, being able to add notes as it relates to any of the critical information associated with the equipment, as well as uploading files. So you can quickly put in a warranty and have that all in one central repository. Moving over into our work orders area, similar to what you saw on the asset list, you can quickly filter on work orders. And as you can see here, if items are coming in that may not be assigned and need to be assigned, you can also bulk edit our asset and quickly look into all of the details associated with that. So you can action accordingly and make sure that those work orders move through your workflows. As we enter in one of the work orders, you can see all of the information associated, as well as the timeline and history for any information that is added to that. So similar to what you have in Request Manager, a full scope and list of everything associated with that information and that asset. You can also, once we have everything cooked and integrated, simply go into the C location and go right into the floor plan view of where that asset sits within your workplace. And what we're really excited about is it leverages a lot of the capabilities that we have currently. As you know, with our Aussie Resource Finder, Andreas mentioned, this essentially is leveraging that same bullseye capability, which allows each of those resources who are on the floor and essentially engage with these work orders to quickly know exactly where to go within the workplace to be able to action accordingly on those work orders. As we look at our reports, a few of the reports that we've already created within our tool include our depreciation report, which ensures that you have an understanding of your asset values, both from the purchase value and the current value as it stands from your depreciation formula, being able to easily export a report as needed, as well as see and modify those details. And similarly with our asset lifecycle, being able to have the information on the assets that are in use and the remaining use dates as they get closer to the end of life. One of the things I also wanted to note here is the configurability as well as the customizability of the platform. When it comes to our system settings, because of your OfficeSpace configurations, we'll be able to port in from an API perspective all of the sites that you already have on the platform. So you can easily select from those sites when you're first inputting or uploading your assets and importing those in, as well as a specific location. So it's easy for you to assign assets to specific rooms and desks, as well as spaces around your workplace. From the employee directory, importing all of this information that you already have in your people manager reports and your integrations from your HRIS system, all here at your fingertips, so you can assign specific assets to resources. And then from a user roles perspective, having that configuration and customizability. We know how critical custom user roles are. So in addition to having a few out of the box to make it easier to assign individuals to the platform, we'll also have capabilities where you can customize specific settings, especially if you have vendors or contractors that will also be managing assets and actioning on work orders. And when it comes to settings, similar to what I just mentioned with customizability and configurability, we are making it as easy as possible to add those categories that make sense for your workplace, as well as those subcategories and the fields associated. So you have any specific fields related to the details, finance, and custom fields that you would be able to control. We are so excited to bring this to market and to continue to get feedback from you. So if you are interested, I encourage you to scan the backstage pass and to keep us engaged so we can ensure that you are one of the first to be able to implement our solution as it comes to market. And with that, I'll go ahead and stop sharing and we'll get back to the additional roadmap items. So in addition to developing our asset management solution, we are continuing to make a lot of headway on our existing roadmap. So I wanted to highlight a couple of things that we've most recently launched, as well as what we're working towards. As we move into the next slide here, where our roadmap is continuously informed not only from the items that we hear from you from a client perspective and where your workplaces are going and how your facility managers are essentially leveraging our platform, but also where the market and industry are heading. And so as Andreas mentioned, with the return to office policies continuing to be top of mind and the mandates that are coming out, we understand that there's an increase in engagement in ensuring that employees are not only coming back to office, but have the right resources they need, the right information at their disposal to determine which days of the office to come in, as well as all of the information at their disposal on who else will be in the office, that they'll be engaging in, what workplaces are available for them to work in, and the design of those workplaces. So as you can see here, we understand that WEX, or what we call WEX, the workplace experience, is top of mind for several of you. A complete increase in terms of the focus of employee morale, engagement, and retention in your offices, as well as designing spaces to make sure they work for your employee needs as they are used to working and being productive in their home environments. How do you replicate that in your offices and feel confident in the way that you're designing those spaces to meet those needs? With that in mind, one of the first items that we launched earlier this year was workplace announcements. And what this feature does is not only engages your employees by letting them know what's happening in and around the office, but allows you to really have control about the messaging that's going out into your workplace based on who is coming into the office, who may already be in office. That way you can get critical alerts, whether it's emergency notifications or fire drills or an upcoming happy hour, and really meeting employees where they are. You're able to email employees with this information, target those specifically schedule send and test send to make sure the information looks great before it goes out to your workforce. And we've already gotten so much amazing feedback about workplace announcements since we launched it last month that we're able to quickly iterate on some of your feedback. So coming out in 2 days on May 15th, we have enhanced workplace announcements with being able to add images, as well as being able to see a list of everyone that you're sending the message to in advance. So we're really excited to continue to iterate on this with the amount of amazing feedback that we've received already. And we'll look forward to additional feedback as you continue to launch this feature in your workplaces and in your OfficeSpace instance. In addition to workplace announcements, as of this Thursday, we will also have our employee homepage. This has been quite a few months in the making. As you may recall from last year, we had an initial revamp of our OfficeSpace visual directory and floor plan, where we essentially took the navigation menu to the left-hand side and providing more seamless and user-friendly approach to our UI. And this is essentially our second phase of that story and that narrative, where really we're honing in on being able to provide a central location for all of your employees as they plan their work week to know what's happening in and around the office, whether they have a desk already allocated or need to quickly book a desk or room, as you can see here with our quick action buttons, having a complete calendar of events so they can see who's coming in the office with their favorites, prioritized to the top, and being able to see all of their rooms based on their calendar as they're booked today. They have a quick action into our floor plan, as well as being able to see the mobile app, which replicates this modern, exciting, and new UI, as well as being able to interact with those announcements. They can pin announcements to come back to later if they're really excited about that. And it essentially just gives them everything that they need right at their disposal to plan accordingly and feel confident about the days they choose to come into the office. And as I mentioned, that's coming out this Thursday, with facilities managers getting first access into this in order to be able to ensure that you are ready to launch this for each of your employees, and being able to allocate messaging accordingly. So very excited. You should probably see a few of the Pendo guides already in your instance, so you can start engaging with some of our material and collateral around the employee homepage. As we look into additional features on designing workplaces with that in mind, with more of your employees coming in the office, we understand that there's such a need to have more flexibility in how desks are assigned, knowing that there are often cases where employees have to share a desk between days of the week that they plan to come in. And so what we're doing is essentially enhancing our assigned seats so that you'll be able to share seats among different coworkers and have more of that flexibility based on the rules that make sense for your workplace, as well as creating that ownership and empowerment for the personal items that folks have within their desk and environment. So we're really excited by the end of this year to be able to support that shared assigned seating, an item that has been quite often regarded and on our roadmap for your use on your workplace needs. As we move into the next item here, going into our presence integrations, as Andreas mentioned earlier, presence really powers a lot of the engagement that we see within the office, because it enables employees to know what's happening in and around the office. Who's in was a feature that we launched in last year, where we were able to allocate favorites, being able to see who's actually in the office. When you click on their name, you'll see a little icon and symbol there to indicate that they have essentially either leveraged a badge scan or a Wi-Fi connection, or are currently in the office. Another item that we launched last year was the ability to leverage that same presence event to check employees in, so they no longer need to interact with the email or to select the button in the platform. And what we just launched earlier this year from a Q1 perspective is now seeing that same presence on the floor plan. So it's easy to know where people are sitting and who's in the office, so you already know before going over to their desk. We're going to continue to enhance and extend those presence capabilities with features that we have upcoming. On the next slide, we highlight here extending that now into sensors. So not only can you leverage our universal presence API for any of your vendor agnostic solutions, but you can now extend that into sensor integrations to be able to book and check into desks and rooms, as well as releasing rooms or desks that are not being used. We know how challenging it is when you have resources who book rooms and don't show up, or those who may come in quickly and have a quick phone call. So with our presence integrations, you'll be able to not only see who's in the room, but the capacity in terms of individuals who are there, and our integrations are able to support passive versus active. It's going to be a game changer for several of you in being able to really utilize your spaces to the full extent and be the most effective in these working environments. and that will be available this summer. And to highlight our room booking requests, another item that we hear quite often from each of you is being able to tie two of our very critical features together, which is our requests as in our room bookings. So in the event that you're making a room booking that has specific catering or IT needs, you're now able to essentially add a request onto that room booking that would then trigger a request for your facilities to be able to see the room where it's associated, the number of individuals. You're able to include a number of different details within that request. And as part of this feature, we're also going to be launching custom fields. As we know, it's imperative to be able to associate those with particular departments or other information so that as you're actioning on these requests, you have all the information needed to be able to service those facilities. And it will all be integrated with our reports for Request Manager, so you'll still get all of the data and insights around those room booking needs. And the last item I'll highlight here, and as you saw in our video earlier that Erin presented, is our Workplace Insights. So on our journey with Aussie, we are extending our capability to ensure that Aussie can answer critical questions regarding your data. And as Andres mentioned earlier, this is all within our ethical AI policies, where essentially you can ask Aussie any question and it will start to look into your data needs, whether it's days to host a specific event or trying to understand sharing ratios or utilization. And not only will it present that answer in line, it will also link to that specific report to ensure that you have all of the data insights to be able to make informed decisions and really transition and create more dynamic workplace strategies and policies. So with that, I'm really excited to continue delivering our roadmap features for each of you and continue to hear your feedback. And I'll hand it over to Erin to wrap us up here.
Thank you, Sahara. And hopefully you guys are as excited as I am with all of the innovation that you just heard about. And I think one of the things that's really important to think about is in this world of being able to leverage new technologies to move faster, we are equally invested in making sure the core platform that you've grown to know and love is continually getting better and best in class, while we also bring you additional capabilities to really expand the ROI and the impact. We have got so much coming in the next several months that if you'd like to actually go behind the scenes and learn more, what we recommend is contact your client success team for a demo of asset management. If there's anything else that you saw today that you're interested in learning more about, whether it's launching in the next week or a couple of months, also engage them to give you some feedback on how you can be a part of that. And we would love for you to actually sign up for the asset management behind the scenes access. As Andres and Sahara said, it's enabling you to see week by week and day by day how we're actually moving through the process and what that product is turning into and how it's going to turn into high value for all of you. We are really, really thrilled to be on this journey with you. And again, one of the reasons that we're here bringing asset management to the market or bringing any of the things that you just saw in terms of enhancements to the market is because of the relationship we have with you and because of the feedback that you provide to us. So thank you always for being able to help us understand where to go for you, what to build for you, how to deliver more value for you. We thank you for being a partner with us, and we thank you for trusting us to be your guide to the future of work and to really take advantage of all this innovation to drive amazing outcomes and amazing ROI. We will have a recording of this in your inbox. And as I mentioned again, please come behind the scenes with us, engage with your CS team. We'd love to tell you more. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.